Jim, based on my calculations, we've got at least 300 years worth of cars to talk about right here. What?
Am I out of frame?
He's hard to work with, folks.
Jim Hall knows it, oh, or so he thinks.
I know a little bit about old Fords from like the Model T all the way up to the early 1950s, but I'll be honest, I've got a lot of automotive blind spots, especially when it comes to classic Toyotas. But I know somebody that has no such deficiencies. Jim, come on up here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I can't complain. So right now we're at ATOM. That's the All Toyotas of the Midwest Car Show. This is the 10th anniversary of the event. They're expecting about 200 vehicles to be here. We're in Detroit at the Lexus Velodrome where they race bicycles. You can see some signage right there. For this event, there's a lot of cool stuff to check out. I know we cover mostly domestic vehicles on this channel, but there's some really neat stuff here. And Jim, these caught your eye as soon as we walked in here. What are we looking at?
They did. This is the Toyota Century. The Century is a car that was built as Toyota's flagship. It first came out in 1967. This one here is a second generation vehicle. It's got codenamed G50. The product has a V8 engine in it.
Okay, I like that.
It has a relatively small fuel tank, and it was used for driving government ministers and key executives and at hotels for VIPs to drive around Tokyo.
So this is a chauffeur-driven luxury car.
Effectively, yes. When this one came out, very few of them were purchased by individuals. They were purchased by large corporations and by people that needed a driver.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, if you wanted a car to drive, you didn't buy a Century. You just didn't.
No.
The Century was about the back seat, to the point where the passenger side front seat is compromised in that the center of it can be kicked out.
So you can
the rear
stretch your
seat
legs out
passenger
like
can
an ottoman.
stretch his legs, exactly.
But a question for you, Jim. I always thought the Century was a Buick named after the average age of the buyer.
No, this was named after basically the founder of Toyota, who was born in 1867 when this came out, so they called it Century, because if he was alive, he would have been 100 years old.
Okay, fair enough. It's a good name, too. I do like it.
It's a great name.
So you said this is the second generation?
They don't have a first generation vehicle here. The car has evolved slowly.
Okay.
The first generation car was exceedingly low volume. And these are low volume too.
Is this like hand assembled low volume?
They were, as somebody said, they are manufactured as stamped modern automobiles. They were put together with a tremendous amount of handwork.
Gotcha.
Handwork in the body filling, the bodies on them, they are actually very well put together. They're gorgeous in my mind because it's about precision.
Uh-huh.
And there were things they did on the car. For example, all of the filling in here was done with lead.
Which you wouldn't be using in the 70s or 80s when these cars were built.
In the States, no, and they did, but they were doing so few cars, they were basically allowed to do it.
Yeah.
The cars are very refined. They are very, very, very quiet. They have V8 engines, but they didn't make a lot of power. It was all about torque.
Because let's be honest, if you're being shuttled around
In
Tokyo
Tokyo
or Nagoya or Osaka, whatever,
Yeah.
you don't need a lot of power.
No.
You just need an effortless, smooth,
Exactly.
easy driving car.
Wafting car.
Correct.
So the G50 was replaced by the G60. And that's the two we have here are G60s.
So this is Gen 3 then?
This is Gen 3.
Gotcha.
These products to me are far more interesting. Because
You can see that it's a little bit more refined. It looks like a Century, but smoother. And I
Exactly.
think more modern.
a lot more,
attractive.
the design is more sophisticated as it got older. The bottom line is still the same, except this one has a 12-cylinder engine.
Oh, a full dozen.
A full dozen. It's like butter. I mean, these are amazing cars.
In fact, you want to buy one.
I would like one. And in the home market, they would simply refer to the two Centuries as owner's Century and driver's Century.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, this is the driver's Century because it meant a chauffeur. And chauffeurs and the people that worked at the hotels, they preferred in Tokyo these mirrors that go back to what was originally required on all Japanese cars, to have the wing mirrors. The side mirrors in a Japanese car for literally decades had to be in an area that was cleared by the windshield wipers.
Okay,
So the only place you could really put them was out on the fenders.
gotcha.
The Brits also did this, and the fair amount of early post-war Japanese cars Well, I mean, like Isuzu, we're using Hillman's, we're using Roots products. So they would simply use that. That's how the cars were built.
So when you say cleared by the wipers are wiping. They don't want rain or snow to get tossed on the mirror.
Or obstruct the mirrors.
Okay,
the point is when you look through a side window, because again, the car's moving at 8 miles an hour average speed in central Tokyo. If you're lucky.
Yes.
That's when it's really moving. The point is that you get rain buildup on the windows. At speed, it's being blown off.
Correct, but not the case here.
But not in the case here. So for the longest time, and the drivers like them because one of the advantages of these is, this is obviously, by Japanese standards, a huge car.
Yes.
And there are times you have to park it. These things are very good for getting close to the curb on that side. They are really good.
You can see the curb with that mirror?
Exactly. So it was good for parking. The drivers just said it allowed them to drive better. Okay. So they offered it. I believe these mirrors are still offered on the 4th generation Century that's been introduced now. It's a hybrid. They did away with the V12. It went back to a V8, but it's a very heavy hybrid.
Gotcha. Were the Doilies standard, though? Just like a Japanese cab.
It was an option, but understand, there were people that would buy the Doilies for their cars, their factory cars. And the other thing is, the Doilies were factory accessories. And it got to the point probably in the, I want to say probably the late 80s, when the Doilies were styled by design. So they put patterns in, like mountains and stuff. And it was, the Doilies were
That's very Japanese.
The Doilies were the coolest part.
Yeah.
There's another reason for the Doilies, but it's not discussed much. And that's that a lot of times the executives would die in the car. They would soak up juices.
This is going very dark.
Yeah, it is.
Is that why is the grabber claw optional, or was that a factory?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
But you can
really
see here.
caught my eye.
You can see here what I was talking about being able to stretch out. Because let there be no doubt.
Sorry, owner of the car, we're using you as a prop.
But I mean, they're great. These cars are great. And this is this is owner's Century.
And is the only difference the placement of the side view mirrors then?
Functionally, yes. That's basically it. That you could get it this way. They offered a leather interior option, I believe, starting on this generation.
Okay.
The G60. And the thing is, when they added it, the assumption was that the people who were driving them themselves would like to have it more like what contemporary luxury cars were, meaning leather.
Yeah. It's very odd to see a car of this caliber with a sort of fabric you might see on a bus.
It is not like a
very
bus.
appealing looking fabric.
It is not like a bus.
It doesn't look any better.
This is some serious wool blend.
Okay,
it is.
I'm sure it's lovely, but it
not
looks like you'd see it on a tour bus.
It breathes, it's comfortable. Unlike the plastic cloth upholstery in a tour bus.
Yes.
So this is the Century I really love. There's stuff they did on it. Like this finish is actually nickel chrome plating that then is put in a machine and it's glass blasted for minutes.
So they just chrome plate this trim,
and then they
like
blast
you normally would, but you blast it for that matte finish.
Yeah, but before they do that, they polish it. Then they do this. The work on these cars is phenomenal as far as how much labor went into them. And the thing is, are they fun to drive? In the traditional sense of fun to drive, no. But they are incredibly refined. They're smooth, they're quiet, refined. They're all the things, in my mind, luxury cars need to be now.
Okay, yeah, well, exactly. Everyone's chasing a lap time record. They're taking their vehicles to the Nordschleife, but you don't need that.
I've always wondered what one of the V12s would have done around the Nürburgring, and my guess is 15, 20 minutes.
15 or 20 minutes, exactly. Well, you talk about the V12. You mentioned it's tuned for torque.
Correct.
It's still a quad cam, 4-valve per cylinder engine, though, right?
Because that's how Toyota builds engines.
That was just their standard operating procedure, right?
Toyota's philosophy of engines is, once you have a cylinder that works technologically, refine it, make it better.
Okay.
That's
so
what
it works, build on that, and continue going forward.
The original Centuries were pushrod 3-liters.
Which makes a lot of sense if you're tuning for torque. It's not a high revving engine for urban use. You're going slow. You're not driving on the Autobahn in Germany.
And the engine for that
makes more sense than quad cams.
Well, of course, but quad cams then, I mean, we're talking 1967.
Yeah.
Okay, and you didn't do that. Plus the engine for the original Century is a rework of an engine built for a super low Toyota Crown sold in the home market only, Crown Hachi, Crown 8. And it was a Crown that was cut down the middle and widened.
Okay.
And it had an 8-cylinder engine in it.
Okay.
They are very rare. And the survival rate on the few that were built is exceedingly low.
Well, if you don't, properly seal those cuts that you're doing with a cutoff wheel or a grinder, I mean, it's just going to rust away.
That was one of the problems, is they rusted where you didn't expect the car to rust.
Geez. I was just kidding, and that's a real problem, apparently.
The interesting thing about the Crown 8 is that Toyota Museum has one in Nagoya. Also, I believe Nissan has one.
Nissan has one?
Yeah.
Why would Nissan
Well,
have one?
they both have cars that are significant cars. They have cars, they don't have just their own cars.
Okay.
Toyota Auto Museum has a lot of amazing cars in it. The bottom line is the Crown 8 was the thing that said, we can do better than this.
Yeah.
And they did a dedicated vehicle, and that is the Century.
Another question for you, Jim. What is the significance? This one's upside down, but this gold-plated chicken, what is that?
Is
This the Colonel Sanders edition?
No, this is the Century mascot. And I believe it's also in the grill. Seriously, it's Hu, which is a symbol of the Imperial House of Japan. It's a phoenix.
Who?
H-O-O, long O in each case. So there are times you have to pronounce those separately, depending upon whether it's Kansai Ben or Kanto Ben, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, it's a phoenix, a golden phoenix, and you will see it, for example, at, I believe, in Kyoto, at one of the palaces. There are symbols of it. And this is in the theme of how it used to be rendered.
Okay.
Now, in the newest Century, they've done a new version of it, but it really is, it looks like the original. It's just, it's even more perfectly detailed.
It's a very elaborate fowl.
And it also was in,
Mythical.
it was also in one of the Godzilla movies, Battling Godzilla on Monster Island. It shot high temperature radio waves out of its mouth.
I wish they just used the 16 petal or whatever chrysanthemum. That would have been a lot easier.
No, it's used on police cars.
Okay.
That's an official seal.
So they're not
You
allowed.
don't use it in a car you're gonna sell.
Okay.
Now, they have built Century variants.
Okay.
They have the chrysanthemum, or they had the chrysanthemum.
For official royal family
Correct.
use.
Limousine, for limousine, yeah.
Gotcha.
If you were to see a first generation Century parked next to this, you'd say, it's the same car.
It's essentially a Century.
And the new Century has been updated again,
Yeah.
the one they're selling now, and they also added a Century SUV.
Because everybody needs a utility vehicle these days.
One of the reasons they did it, they looked at who was buying the Rolls-Royce Cullinan in England, in London.
A lot of well-heeled folks.
A lot of car services. Hotels, high-end hotels.
Okay.
And so they
So
said,
that's a market they could very easily capitalize, especially in the UK with right-hand
drive.
drive.
But
Yeah.
they looked at it and said, we need to address that with our own cars. So they decided to do a Century crossover.
So Toyota Century, you would love to have the third generation.
Third
pardon me.
generation V12.
Yeah.
And I would like it with the mirror. This is a third generation V12, but that one is their diabolically great dark metallic blue, which
It
will
almost
never,
looks black, yeah.
It does even in sunlight, but it is a very intense blue when it lights off. And it's one of those things, I love this car, and I can't explain it. It is not a stylistic wonder. It's just, there's
But
something.
it's not unattractive.
No, exactly, and therein lies the thing. It's like, if you were to look at it and didn't know what it was, it is almost the definition of a car. It's a car. But the point is that it was the consistency is this is what the Century was, this is what the Century will be. They even did, in my mind, a pretty good job of trying to take the Century visual DNA and putting it on the SUV. They actually did.
Gotcha. What are some other examples of budget be damned engineering that they put into these things?
A lot of it is things like the trim that's in the car.
You talked about the trim, the hand
trim.
finishing
The
with
hand-
lead.
Right. Hand finishing for the upholstery. Also, the woods they use in the car are fully grain matched.
Extra
Right.
attention to detail.
Extra attention. They are heavily cleared and lacquered.
So a very elaborate paint process then.
Yes. The
Zero flaws.
If there's a flaw, they don't leave the factory.
No.
And the production, the thing is, the production is so low in volume-wise that the ability to inspect, they can do thorough inspections almost at every step where they're ready to move to the next
Because
step.
how many are they building per month, per day, per week? What?
They're building
Single
very few
digits,
cars.
yeah.
Now the thing is, the SUV is forecast to sell in much higher numbers. They also are thinking the SUV may, in fact, in Japan, have a relatively large, for its price, retail market for single user owners.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So I know you said you want one of these. Do you think you'll end up buying one before you turn a Century?
Twice in one interview.
Oh, come on. That was clever. Jim, come back. I didn't mean it. Well, this is something I never expected to see here at Adam. That is a 2JZ straight six from a Supra that's been swapped into a Ford Mustang of all things. That's a very interesting swap. I love to see it. But for more amazing Ford cars, Jim and I recently attended a Cars and Coffee event at the company's world headquarters where we checked out a whole bunch of different historical concept vehicles that Ford had introduced over the years. So click the on-screen link to check that video out next.